And we're back. So you'll notice we're still in Anor Londo, which we left about 2 years ago, but we're still there. Uh, Playing. I completely forgot what class we are, but we've got a Black Knight halberd, so it doesn't really matter.
I think we're just generic melee.
All right. Well, with a Black Knight weapon, it don't really matter.
Yeah, it don't really matter.
So let's do this. So Anor Londo, for those who don't know, is ridiculously beautiful and is probably the coolest level in the game, or one of them. You just look ahead of you. I mean, that is art. You can frame that somewhere on a mantelpiece. So we're going to do that, and actually, before we do Anor Londo, we're probably going to do the Painted World of Ariamis, which is another equally just incredible zone. So lore-wise, hold on. Where are you going?
Well, I'm
Let's
down
talk
the
about
elevator now.
God, this delay. So I was going to mention lore-wise. So when
Well, here, let
Deprava
me
looked
just
at
go
the
back
top
up.
at that little building on the mountain, that is the Duke's archives, and the Duke refers to Seath because after he helped the four lords overcome the dragons and betray his brethren, he was given a dukedom by a grateful Gwyn. So that's a little side note. Maybe will we see that? We probably will,
One
because
day.
everything in Dark Souls that you see, you can basically go to because it's a perfectly designed game world. What else? Anor Londo, right. So look, it all looks very pristine and beautiful, but that's in the distance. Notice how if you look down, you'll see that there's like a kind of raggedy-looking cathedral down there. And you'll notice that the closer things are, the more they look like maybe everything isn't as pristine and wonderful and kept as it seems. And we'll visit that theme in a bit when we realize that Anor Londo may not be the shining temple of the gods that we were led to believe it was. You can go now. Or if you already have 8 minutes
Nope.
ago, I'm not sure.
I'm just panning around, and then yeah, we see the larger extent of the city in the distance, and then of course there's the main palace in front of us that we are eventually going to go to. Let me just hop down this elevator.
And keep in mind how we've been talking about the verticality of this whole game, and Anor Londo and the Duke's Archives are the topmost areas.
Yes.
So keep in mind the contrast between what we've seen in the depths and things like that, and we will see in the catacombs and all those things, and what we're seeing now, it's all there, and important and meaningful.
I never remember if there's anything back here. I guess there's not.
I think at the outside there's a thing around.
Yep. And oh look, it's our good friend Mr. Gargoyle. Oh Lord,
right.
It's been a long time.
What happened? I'm on a delay. Did you get hurt? Yep. I saw it now. So again, the game is not easy. As you'll see, what was once a boss is now just a generic NPC enemy because it's Dark Souls and that's how we roll.
Well, and also this creates oh Lord, this is not going well. This creates a link between the Belfry and Anor Londo. These gargoyles are apparently native to Anor Londo, but yet they were also there guarding the Belfry Tower, which further reinforces that the bell ringing quest originates from Anor Londo, and I am the worst Dark Souls player to ever live.
Well, you're used to Dark Souls 2 rolls, which are terrible, by the way. But we're not here to talk about rolling mechanics in the sequel.
There we go. Lord, that's just depressing.
You gotta get your mojo back.
It's gonna get better from here, folks. I promise. But yeah, down here is a little secret area. This is a particularly popular area for people who want to do co-op with their friends. The friend just leaves a summon sign back here where most players don't end up going, so that you can go to it and summon them yourself.
But really, don't ever try to do co-op in the games because it doesn't really ever work.
Yep. But down here there is a Demon Titanite, which is very useful. So now we can see ahead, although I can't get back up there, that the bridge is moved out of position. We can't actually go forward. And a curse... Oh, we can... Here we go. Yeah, so we can loop back around here. Do.
And this is a lot of the game is set up so you can go to most places wherever you want. This is one of the few instances where it sort of really tells you need to go this way.
Yeah, we can see that the bridge is moved out of position, so we can't actually progress here, and there's no possible way to make this jump. So our only option is to fish around and try and find a different route.
Well, you didn't even try to make that jump.
Well, I'm not going to try to make that jump.
Just take your gear off and go for it.
But in fact, there is a way to go, which is right here. And most of the time, there's a message right here informing you this is where to go. And in fact, I'm going to be nice and write a message right here.
You should. You haven't been leaving enough messages next to walls that say there's a secret passage here.
Yeah.
Those are really terribly annoying. Because if the message is there, you can't get the secret passage in Dark Souls 2. So people do that to just F with people. Just to mess with them.
Where is it? Oh, here, I'll just do this one. Here. There we go. See, I'm helpful.
Right, because at this point, not everyone knows about this.
Yeah, and so this is up into this cathedral along the side that we mentioned before. Looks a little bit out of sorts. And this is also home to a point where the camera deliberately tries to kill you as you go through these pillars. The camera sort of loses track and rotates like that, and if you're not careful, it will just throw you right off.
Yeah, and that happens a few times in Anor Londo, so you just gotta be careful.
And this is another one of Anor Londo's many falls into one of these areas that is pretty dangerous, as you can see. And then, oh look, here's a broken window. And now we've got some new enemies.
These are enemies we haven't seen before, but they look like they're specifically there to do something, and we'll find out in a bit. But these are enemies that we won't really see in any other place in the world because they have a very specific thing to guard.
Yes. Oh, look, he dropped something. A throwing knife. Oh, that's actually... I'm gonna put those to use.
And this is a part coming up that like you really have to be careful with. And it's this game is really good at putting areas together that even if you played the game a lot and you're just trying to speed through, you just can't. Because if you try to speed through, you die. Yeah,
this is pretty much one of the trolliest points in the game, where you're expected to cross these very narrow beams over the top of this cathedral, where the fall will obviously kill you. And then, of course, there's dudes up here. And not only are there dudes up here, but they will throw weapons at you that can knock you off. So it's pretty much just Troll City. Let me see if I can peg any up. No, I can't. There's no way I'm going to reach them from here.
Your stream is freezing and going out of... Okay, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, this is kind of an unfair area, but it's Dark Souls, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's the way this works.
And again, we said it's like really unfair, but it's really not too difficult if you just take it slow and do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Also, having range makes this much easier because you can sort of draw the people to you easier. And there's a big chandelier that you want to cut while you're up here so that it falls to the bottom for when you're at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a wire here so that if you... or a chain that sends the chandelier crashing down and allows you to get the item hidden upon it.
Which is, I think it's some kind of magic spell.
Yeah, I believe it's a sorcery. I think it's... I want to say it's Great Magic Barrier, but don't quote me on that.
I will.
Okay.
Dave Kittrell, 2014.
It's Great Magic Barrier.
It's Great Magic Barrier.
Okay.
That'll be on your tombstone.
Now, there is actually a shortcut right here that I have never done and probably will never do, where you can run off the ledge right here and land right on that railing, and thus bypass this last guy. I've seen people do it. I have never done it myself, and I'm not going to try right now.
And it's sort of not... I mean, you're almost at the end anyway, so at this point. But it's really tricky to do.
Yeah. Yeah, there is another shortcut sort of like that I will try at least once later on, just for shits and gigs. But don't expect me to get it.
And you'll see in front of Deprava is a giant, matronly-looking statue of a huge boobed woman. And we're going to find out who that is a little later. It's obviously one of the Anor Londo pantheon. Is it Gwyn's wife? Is it someone else? We're going to find out.
Yes.
Keep in mind, we have yet to see any representation of Gwyn's wife or any reference to her whatsoever, so it's probably not her. So who could that be?
Well, yeah. And then that she's flanked by enemies that look almost like Black Knights that we have fought before, but not quite. There's also
well, they look like the Silver Knights in the intro of Gwyn's army.
And then there's a chest over there that I don't know if I've ever gotten.
I've never either, and I've never seen a video of someone getting it, but there must be a way.
I imagine it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like...
I'm sure it's magic barrier.
Everything's great magic barrier. So then
the
here's
newest patch. All
here's the fog.
Now. All loot is.
And this is the lever. Oh, right, you don't pull it here. You actually rotate it up here. That will move the bridge and provide the link between up there where we began and the palace. And it will also grant us access to the ground floor of the cathedral we were just in that we will go to in just a second.
There it is. I'm just reminded how much better this game is than Dark Souls 2.
We'll get to that.
It's just so much better designed.
And then here's another gargoyle who always gets a little sidetracked.
And this gargoyle is actually easier than the last because you can kind of wheel him around stuff and get him caught in pillars and things like that. You know, you can use your environment to your advantage here.
That went much better. Okay. Oh, wow. I got a bounty.
And the gargoyle helm is one of the coolest looking helms in the game. It's not the best stat-wise, but it just looks pretty awesome.
Yep. And if you go down here, there is a secret area that we can't do a lot with right now.
But it has a bonfire.
Oh wait, no, this is oh no. Yeah, it's further down.
Oh no, yeah, you gotta go down one more for the bonfire.
Yeah, anyway. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so here's the ground floor of the cathedral, and there are more of these dudes.
Just go ahead and do... There's a bonfire item area, miss. Might as well just go that.
Yeah.
But for those of you listening at home, if you go down one more level, there is a bonfire right there.
Lord.
And it's a very useful bonfire to light.
Yeah, and it provides access to a secret covenant that you have to have the... I want to say Dark Moon Seance Ring to activate.
Yeah, I think it's in New Londo, right?
No, it's in the catacombs.
Right, yeah, it's in a special place in the catacombs you gotta go get.
Which is another indication to me that the developers expected you to go to the catacombs before you got here.
Well, right, but why?
But yeah, why?
Why do it?
There's no reason to do that, but I think that's what they anticipated.
And that lets you join the, I think it's Blades of the Dark Moon is that covenant,
yes.
And it's sort of based upon invading guilty people and punishing them.
Yes. Yeah, if you invade somebody as a Red Phantom in this game, which is a hostile invasion, and kill them, you obtain Sin. And also they can purchase an item that indicts you, which further increases your notoriety. And then the Blades of the Dark Moon Covenant will invade you, and as a punishment for your sinful invasions.
And this area, again, it looks intimidating with all these enemies, but if you just go draw them out, you know, one or by one or two by two, it's doable. It's really not so bad.
Most of them are in a position where you can get only one or two at a time.
But certainly don't just bum rush into the middle of the place and fight all 8 of them or whatever.
Yeah, and you can tell from the placement where I'm sort of showing it that it's designed that they expect you to run through the middle, and then these guys along the sides hidden behind the pillars are going to backstab you. And you're suddenly going to end up with more people than you thought you were, and it's going to prove more difficult.
But you've got us leading the way, so don't you worry.
Yep. So
don't fret, my pets.
Grab this guy. And the weapons that... These guys are called Painted Guardians, by the way. Or Painting Guardians. They are, in fact, guarding the painting at the end of this
Right.
cathedral.
And all this info is, like everything, it's in the item description. So
Yeah,
that
I don't.
when they drop their gear, you can read it. But
Yeah, but
they're there to guard a huge painting we're about to see at the which is right across from the big boobed statue goddess.
yeah, I know. I wish I'd gotten the binoculars earlier on, but I didn't. I almost never do.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Well,
I never get them.
they're a good item. They're a good item.
Yeah.
It's a pretty game to look at.
It is. I agree. And this guy's, he can't handle that.
Do they have binoculars in Dark Souls 2? I don't think I've ever.
Oh yeah, they're right at the start.
Oh wow, where are they?
If you fall off the cliffside right when you get to Majula from Things Betwixt, they're on a little hidden alcove
Oh wow,
there.
I need to. I never had them.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there for this one.
Well, it's there.
Yeah. All right. These guys' gear is actually in this painting that we're going to go to in a second, so you don't get it from them here. Their weapon is actually one of the best weapons in the game for parrying. You can parry with weapons, not just shields, and their weapon is very good for parrying, and even better in Dark Souls 2. Oh, great magic weapon! Oh, I was close.
Oh, I'm glad we
I was
didn't
close.
quote you on it.
We too. And so this is the last guardian.
And over here, to the left, there's a corpse with a soul, and it has the items of Tarkus,
Yes, Black Iron Tarkus.
who you can summon to help. Did we summon him in this? I don't think we did.
No, we
Maybe
didn't, because we were not human, which we're still not.
But you can summon him to help you fight the Iron Golem in Sense Fortress. So basically, lore-wise, it's he made it this far.
Yeah,
Like he got through the Sense Fortress, and then I guess fell from the top and died.
Yeah, which I think is, again, some of this game's brilliant sort of world storytelling of... we sort of know exactly what happened to this guy just from the way that we know where he was and what happened to him, that he was a great champion who made this far, and then, of course, he couldn't navigate those rafters. His gear, let's see if we can just put it on and look at it. Where are you, Greatsword? Nope, that's not it. There's the Greatsword. And there's the Black Iron Great Shield. His gear actually has really, really high fire resistance.
It also,
But it's also really, really heavy.
but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And when you summon him, he pretty much is just a big tank guy who tanks the Iron Golem for you.
Yeah.
And he looks like that.
Yep. Brr.
And so you'll see in the background is that huge painting. And if you have the when we went back to the insane asylum, undead asylum, back in the cage we were in, there was sort of I forgot what it was called, the old doll or old whatever.
The peculiar doll.
The peculiar doll. And if you have that in your inventory and go up to the painting, something may or may not happen.
Yeah, and here's the clue that this is what this does, is that the description even says that there was once an abomination who had no place in this world. She clutched this doll tightly and eventually was drawn into a cold and lonely painted world. And if you look, the painting is of a snowy scene. So we just go up to it and we get an examine. And then...
this is actually, it's a really cool cutscene too.
So that happened.
And now we are inside the painted world of Ariamus.
Yep.
And it's a really cool zone. It's just real pretty.
Yep.
And you'll notice there's no real way back, so...
Yeah, there is no way back, so...
Forward.
This area is unique for a couple of reasons. This was actually the very first Dark Souls 1 area that the developers ever made. And this was sort of a proof of concept area. to see whether or not this sort of vertical interconnected level design, they could pull it off, since their previous game, Demon Souls, is very linear. And they originally intended for the boss of this area to be Nito, but later scrapped that and shuffled this area here into the painted world, and put somebody else in its place. And also we see here a raven or a crow, which are the heralds of Velka, the goddess of sin and punishment. And maybe we'll see more of her as we go forward.
And this is also lore-wise, this whole area is a big discussion point.
Yeah.
As to why it's here, what means what, who's who, things like that. As we mentioned, Velka seems to be prevalent here, and thematically, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yep.
So it's just a snowy ruin, but that's cool. It's real pretty, real interesting.
It's actually my favorite area in the game.
It might be. Well, it's one of my top ones. There aren't really many areas I don't like in the game.
Lord.
So you got to be careful.
Oh my god.
Now these are the just basic hollows like we've been fighting since the beginning, but there's just a lot of them, so you got to be careful.
Yeah,
and because it's Dark Souls, enemies never get easy.
And these are stronger than the ones you fight in the Burg.
Right, I just mean in terms of like attacks and stuff.
Now these guys are unique to this area, and they are obviously have some sort of problem going on here, and that is actually poisonous. They also have the dangerous effect where once you kill them, they will then spew a cloud of poison that if you touch will instantly poison you. Not even raise your meter, just poison you. And these only appear in this area. And okay, and I rolled away before that one poisoned me.
They also, some of them have long-range fireball attacks, so be careful.
Yes. And they actually have an interesting mechanic where if you kill them with fire, or any sort of fire-based attack or any sort of weapon that has the fire element on it, then they will not spew the poison that can get you. That the fire sort of negates their poisonous cloud that disperses when you kill them. So
again, Black Knight weapons.
Yeah, Black Knight weapons.
You could just one hit every.
Sort of. Oh my god. Oh, whoa, where did you come from? Oh, really?
Well,
there was that.
So it's not quite easy mode.
Well, it's also
That's the thing you leveled.
That's the first time ever that I've been in this area and that third guy hasn't come down from the balcony to fight me right here. Like, that's the first time he just, like, hung up at the top.
Maybe they just patched it.
See? Look, they're not patching this game again.
I don't know what to tell you. They've got to nerf miracles at some point.
Go.
Dark Souls 2 joke. Don't worry.
Alright, and then I'm actually going to go turn human because that's actually a rule of this playthrough that I haven't been following.
But I mean, no one's going to invade you anyway because that would require people to play this game.
Well, no, there's an NPC invasion here.
Oh, well, but you could do that. Well,
yeah.
Right, but I mean, that's not going to be for a bit. As we go along, as we were mentioning about the lore, really keep an eye out for a lot of little symbols and things as we go to the top where we were. In the courtyard, you'll see one of those statues of like a matronly figure with a baby, which we have seen parts of before. So that's a little interesting side note. I don't want to say any more right now because let's just meet the boss before we talk about anything else with that.
Well, we can talk about some more once we get to...
If you ever defeat these hollows.
I know, if I ever defeat, like, these generic dudes.
You can get past that.
Whoa, see, there's a fireball.
I haven't seen it yet. There, okay.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Now, we mentioned the verticality and everything. There's, you'll see that we weren't able to just go in through that one steel door at the beginning.
Yeah,
we're going to kind of go around the back and all over the place before we get to parts where we can open them. And all that stuff, we're basically going to go all over this place.
Yeah, this area is 100%. You will visit every corner of it. None of it is just for show.
And there's, it's a great area too because I mean there's some good items and also
Really?
just you end up getting loads of souls. So it's pretty much always worth, like it's never worth skipping this. Basically.
Yeah, you would only be skip this if you were specifically doing
Like a
speed run.
Right? Because you technically don't need anything in here to beat the game, but.
And then this is the first ambush by these enemies. These are
people.
crow people who are. These are acolytes of Velka, who, again, as we've seen, is the goddess of sin and punishment. And again, they drop a souvenir of reprisal, which is an item that you get if you invade somebody as a sinner and kill them. And we can look
Dave
at
made
it.
that look pretty easy, but just so you know, those enemies actually hit really hard, so
Yeah.
be careful if this is your first playthrough or whatever. Just don't get too cocksure, because those guys hit hard.
Yeah, here we go, yeah. Souvenir taken from subduing the guilty. And then this is a description that shows what we were talking about, the Blades of the Dark Moon. This sort of gives you an indication of what they are. And brings up the idea of something called the Dark Sun, which we may learn about more as we continue. Let's see, and there's dude in here. Oh, right, I forgot. It's been a minute.
Yep, you gots to go around.
Yep.
Yeah, also in Dark Souls, the shortest distance between 2 points is rarely a straight line.
Yep, and then these are the dried fingers. I don't know, has anybody figured out what they do?
I'm sure on some message board on the internet they would tell us.
Yeah, the description doesn't really help you out, and there's nothing really indicating what they're supposed to be used for. And then here we have the white rats that are pretty much the same as regular rats, except they're white. And like most rats, they will initially try to run away from you and only fight you if you engage them first.
Alright, dried fingers, when used, it greatly reduces the period of time between possible invasions of your world.
Oh, I see. Look at you. Dropping the knowledge.
Although it doesn't describe what they come from.
Alright, now this is probably one of the most dangerous rooms in the whole game.
Yeah, you'll see there's loads of fire people, there's also hollows to the side, just be careful.
Because there's the fire guys, there's this archer who's just... And there's more of these...
Notice if you go kill that archer right away, hollows climb up from the side and ambush you.
Yes,
so.
and there are more of these bloated hollows on the ceiling of that area. Wow, okay. That will ambush you if you go too far into the room. Luckily, this halberd has such long reach that I am relatively safe from their poison cloud.
We say relatively because you've been using Estus, like you're hooked on it.
Well, no, that hasn't been from poison. That's just been from me being bad. And that was the luckiest roll ever.
Oh, but you can just take a skill point for that.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, there we go. Just gonna drink this Estus.
Yeah, the other thing about Dark Souls is you always want to have, if you can, like really high health. Don't ever try to just kind of get through it or think you'll be fine, because
you won't.
Rarely are.
Yeah,
so
you won't.
always try to refill. Don't try to hoard Estus or go at stuff with half health and things like that.
Yeah, so you see, you try to kill that archer, and there's an ambush. And
of course, the Black Knight halberd equalizes.
Yeah, the Black Knight halberd really sort of trivializes a lot.
As to, I mean, most of the other Black Knight, the Silver Sword is great. This Black Knight sword and Great Sword are great too, though the halberd is sort of the best in terms of damage and reach.
Yeah, the halberd is actually the weapon used exclusively by speedrunners. because it has a terrific moveset since it has a vertical attack and a horizontal attack.
Yeah. And it's useful throughout the whole, even in the DLC. I mean, it helped me beat Calamite.
Yeah.
Because it's an incredible PvE weapon.
This is our first area where we have a lot of choices about which direction we go. I'm going to go this direction, and look at what's over on the end of this bridge.
Looks like a zombie dragon.
A zombie dragon?
I wonder if it's going to attack you.
I wonder what's going to... Oh god, it's a zombie dragon, and he's moving. Oh lord. It's a zombie dragon.
Okay, we're on like a 20-second delay at this point.
We are? Well,
go for it.
That's
Just go for it.
unfortunate.
So this one, again, it's pretty simple. The dragon itself doesn't really move. It spews biomass stuff that hurts. And I don't know if it poisons, but it hurts.
Yeah, it's poison.
But it's fairly easy to get out of. And so basically what you do is just let him spew, run to the other side and hit him, and then let him spew. I think he can also do like a mouth bite attack.
Yes, he can do a mouth bite, as you just saw in real time.
In delay time, I just saw it.
Yeah.
But again, we've done bosses that are harder than this at this point. You can handle it.
Yeah, he's really a mini boss.
And again, with all Dark Souls 2 things, just don't try to get too impatient or cocky. Just take your time.
Yeah.
If you're not sure you can get an attack off in time, it's probably better to just back out and reset.
And I'm about to get hit by a crow. Okay, I've never had that guy come up here before.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
I know, this is just full of new happenstance. That attack is the most dangerous attack. That is a grab.
It's a basically insta-kill, too.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the poison killed him. That's nice of him. Look, he's my buddy, is what he is.
He was like, this is a duel of honor between the two of us.
Be gone!
Bro.
Okay. And then I don't even know what... Oh, whoa. And then there's a claw attack.
So they have that too, I didn't know. But so apart from the bite. The other thing too is lore-wise, is there any discussion on like how zombified dragons are or came to be?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any specific lore about what they are. And he also drops dragon scale. There's no indication that dragons can succumb to the curse. So really there's not much. And of course here's the back half of this dragon, which there used to be a glitch here where if you hit this enough, he would actually stand up. Like the legs by themselves would stand up, and you can walk under them and go straight to the boss room through there.
That glitch is no longer there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was patched when the DLC was released. So instead we have to go back around.
Right.
And
the zombie dragons are always interesting to me because they're really never there's two of them in the game. No, well, more in the Izalith, but
well, that's just like the back half of them, or something.
Well, but there's like 3 or 4 of them down there, right?
There's a lot of them down there. So this is the bottom of this platform. This is a door that's locked. And then
So
this...
that key.
Yep. Is the fog that goes down. Now we're at the bottom courtyard that we have seen since first getting here. These enemies are called phalanxes. They only exist in this one area.
And they only exist for you to run away from them.
Yes, although you can kill them. And they are a nod to the very first Demon Souls boss, also called Phalanx.
And you'll notice you can open this door now, and that's a shortcut to it.
And so now you have a shortcut back to the bonfire, which you need because this is the only bonfire in this area.